Patrician College of Arts and Science for this prestige event. It is a great opportunity for the Department of Social Work to host the remarkable event by the International Foundation for Crime and Victim Care. I would like to welcome our guest for the day, Ms. Rashmi Sharma, Director of Prevention Service and the International Foundation for Care and Crime Care. I welcome Ms. Indirani Garadia, Founder, Indirani Light Foundation and founding member. It is my pleasure in welcoming our dearest Principal, Dr. A. Joseph Durai, Vice Principal, Dr. Geeta Rufus, HOD of Social Work Department, Dr. Sindhu Sevan, faculty members and my fellow mates. PCVC stands for the International Foundation for Crime Prevention and Victim Care, which is a non-profit organization that was set up in the response to the need of a support agency for victims and survivors of domestic abuse. Their service includes crisis management, legal advocacy, support and resource service. The organization was founded and registered in 2001. Hope you will be enlightened by the event and take back an enriching experience. Hereby, I would like to welcome you to the launch of Youth Unite of Equality, Peace and Justice in our campus. Thank you.
Thank you, Mahima. Indirani Garadia is a philanthropist and advocate for women's health and empowerment. She is the founder of Indirani's Light Foundation, a non-profit foundation dedicated to ending gender-based violence and empowering women around the world with the tools to live healthy and meaningful lives. Now, I would like to call upon Ms. Indirani Garadia to address the gathering. Welcome, ma'am. Enlighten us with your enriched experience.
How are you guys doing? I brought a gift for you from the United States. I had an x-ray yesterday and I have a fracture. So I would like to give this fracture to someone. Who wants it? Anybody? No takers? I am representing PCVC and Indirani's Light. And PCVC is a foundation in India where women and men, some men, have prevention services and victim care. Now, what is prevention? Well, anybody have a definition for prevention? When we say to prevent, what do we mean? Come on, guys, somebody. To prevent is to stop, to not even allow it to happen, right? When it happens, whatever it is, we have to have a plan to fix it. So, I fell down the day that I was leaving Texas in the US. I fell flat on my belly. But I didn't feel any pain. So I got up and I thought, oh, how lucky am I? I'm 65 years old and I fell down and nothing happened. I packed my suitcase, I got on the flight, and 5 days later, I felt the pain. So yesterday, I went to the hospital and I got an x-ray and there's a fracture. So I couldn't prevent the fracture. I mean, I didn't fall on purpose, did I? I tripped and I fell. But once we found the fracture, I had an obligation to myself to have care. And this is the care. When things happen in our lives that we didn't plan on happening, we have an obligation to fix it, to take care of it. I started my foundation because I realized when I reached my 30s, I got married at 30, and I had my first child at 31. And when that child was just a few weeks old, his name is Vishal, he's now 33, he was crying, and I was tired, and I didn't know what to do, and I wanted to slap him. How many of you here think it's a good idea to slap a baby? Put your hand up. Anybody think it's a good idea to slap a baby? No. Why did I think that would be a good idea? Well, I came to realize that as a young child, I had been severely abused in my childhood. And because of that abuse, I had certain ideas. And some of those ideas meant that I thought abuse was a good idea. I did not abuse my son. I never did. I started to get help. I went to therapy. I took parenting classes. I understood that the way I was brought up was not correct. Now, remember when what we cannot prevent, we must fix? I couldn't prevent my abuse as a child, but I could prevent myself abusing my own children, right? So if I could prevent that, do you think I had an obligation to do that? Or should I say, oh well, it happened to me, it's not a big deal, I'll just continue? No. As soon as I recognized that I was abused and that my abuse did something to my brain, something so significant that I was thinking it's okay to hit an infant, I had an obligation to do something about it. I started by training myself how to be a good parent, how to be a good person, and I created Indirani's Light. And at Indirani's Light, we do lots of leadership and empowerment classes to help people understand, to help people understand. Isn't that like a Hindi movie, like, you know, the wind in my hair? Look at that, yeah. Can you turn that off, please? It's really annoying. To help people understand that there are ways for us to, thank you, there are ways for us to have a different path in life. So, was it easy? Some of you might think, was it easy to not be an abuser? No, it was very difficult because my brain had been impacted at a very young age to behave in certain ways. The good news is this. How many of you have heard the word neuroplasticity? If you heard the word, put your hand up. Okay. Only the girls have heard the word neuroplasticity, none of the boys? Come on. Anybody over here ever heard that word? At least lie. Come on, put your hand up and lie. Okay, one of the girls who put their hand up, would you like to tell us what neuroplasticity is? One person. No? Neuroplasticity is the ability for the brain to learn new things and to create different pathways for behavior change. We used to think that the brain was formed by the age of 7, but the brain is not formed. The brain is a living, dynamic organ that is always able to pivot and change. You know, if there's a river and you put rocks in the river, the water doesn't come to the rock and say, oh well, there's a rock, I'm not going to be able to flow. The water will go under the rock, over the rock, behind the rock. The water will find a path. That's what happens with the brain. When something new is happening in our lives, the brain needs a way to make sense of that thing. So neuroplasticity is the ability of the brain to make changes. Why is that a big deal? That's a big deal because as young people, if you want a different life, if you want to create a life where there is no abuse in your households, even if you've had abuse with your parents, you can do it because you are the master of your brain. But how do we do that? How do we learn to not just do the thing that we are taught? One of the ways that I have found is we have to know who we are. Do you all have a pencil and a paper? Write this website down. www, or can we write it on there? No. www.v, that's V as in Victor, I like India, A like Apple, VIA survey, SURVEY.org. Everybody got that? Should I say it one more time? www.viasurvey.org. This is a website. There are questions. You answer the questions. And then you will get a list of 5 values or 5 strengths that are uniquely yours. My strengths are bravery, zest, sense of humor, love of learning, and love. So when I first got those, I thought, I'm not really brave. But then I thought about my life and I realized I am indeed brave. When I was 25, I took a backpack and a sleeping bag and I went to Europe and I slept in tents and I could only afford cheese and apples, and that's what I did for 4 months. That's brave, right? I forgot that I had done that. When I turned 50, or when I was about to turn 50, when I was 49, my depression was diagnosed. So I went and I got medicine, and after 6 weeks, I realized that I wasn't having depressing thoughts anymore, and life seemed clear, and the sky was bright. And I asked my therapist, what's going on? Why am I feeling so good? And he said, well, depression is brain chemistry, and you have medicine, so your brain chemistry is now in balance. And I thought, wow, okay, if I'm not depressed at 49, how am I going to live the rest of my life? So I thought, I want to show the world that I want to live so differently. Rashmi, how much time do we have? 5 minutes, okay. So I learned to swim when I was 49 and a half, and I entered a big race called a triathlon. How many of you have heard about that? Triathlon. Tri means 3. So in a triathlon, you have to swim, you have to bike, and you have to run. So I swam a mile. I think that's like 1.3 in your measurements, I think. Anyway, I swam a mile, I biked for 25 miles, and I ran for 6 miles. And I did that after 3 days after I turned 50. That was brave. So I started looking at my other strengths, and I started realizing, yeah, those strengths are real. The way to make changes in your life is to look at your unique strengths and to apply those strengths to everything in your life. When we begin to do that, what happens is we begin to pulsate with a life force that belongs to us. When people approach us and they talk to us, they begin to see that we are indeed the epitome of those strengths. When you shine your strengths and you approach somebody, it feels like there is a light on your head, and your light and your life becomes so bright that people cannot doubt who you are, because you're always being true to yourself. If someone said to me, "Oh, Indirani, I want you to do something, really hard, but you're not brave, so you won't be able to do it," I say, "What? I'm brave. I can try that." I may fail. I may not be able to do it very well. By the way, out of 1,700 people at the triathlon, I came dead last. Did I care? No. I finished. I wasn't injured. I walked out and off of that bike and I ran, and I didn't break my legs. For me, that was success. So when I say try, I don't mean you have to come first. You don't have to come second. You don't have to come in the first 10. But you must finish the race. And you must finish your race. And my race was a slow race. The only way you can do that is by following your life and using your strengths. So I have a little thing here that my husband gave me. Can I ask you to hold this for me? Hold it here. Hi. So this is a hat that my husband gave me, and on this hat there is a light. And I thought, I want to bring this light to show you that when you use your strengths, your light becomes your heart light. And so I'm going to turn around and turn the light on, and I'm going to turn back, and I'm going to create magic. Hold on. Ta-da! Heart light! Okay, I'm going to let it fall. When we use our strengths, we shine. And when we shine, people have to go like this. And they have to say, "Oh, you're so bright." And that's okay. If someone says, "You're too bright for me, turn off your light," what do you say? "Oh no, that light belongs to me. And if you cannot handle my light, then you will have to leave." And when we approach life, and when we are victims, because nobody goes to say, "Hey, hit me, beat me, slap me." Nobody volunteers to be a victim. But once we are victims, then we have to find ways to help ourselves. And it's with organizations like PCVC and things like the strengths that we hold, that we keep in our heart. Those are the ways that we stand up for ourselves. So if someone says, "You think you're too smart, you think you're too, your daddy's got a little bit of money, you think you're too good for me," don't try to prove that you're not smart, or that you don't have a little bit of money, or that you're not that good. Instead, what you have to say is, "Yes, I'm smart. Yes, my parents have enough money to send me to school. Yes, I'm good. And if you cannot accept those qualities in me, please step aside." So, how many of you here think you might be brave enough to tell somebody, "This is who I am, and if you cannot accept me, please step aside"? Let's see. Raise your hands. Okay, we need a lot more hands in the air. We need 100% of people. Thank you. We have to know who we are, and we have to stand up for ourselves, and we have to invite people who don't appreciate us, respect us, and admire us for who we are to stand aside. Thank you very much.
Thank you, ma'am, for your wonderful sharing. Youth Unite is a long-term initiative of PCVC to build a sustained engagement with young women and men boys and girls in promoting positive alternatives, specifically attitudes and practices which will strengthen respect for all valuing of different identities and equality, thus countering the growing influence of intolerance and violence. I now call upon our Vice Principal, Dr. Geeta Rufus of Patrician College of Arts and Science to give us the overview of vision, mission of our college and its alignment with goals of Youth Unite.
Respected dignitaries of the dais, beloved Principal, Head Department of Social Work, Dr. Sundar, faculty members and my dear students. I hope you were listening to Indirani Madam. Yes? It was like watching an English movie. That reaction I was able to understand because many of you were just looking at her style of talking and doing things. But I do not know how many of you gotten the information that she had given, isn't it? So that I think everyone would have noticed that. Madam has spoken about the word crime and prevention. Crime, prevention, these two things we have heard from her, the key words. So we have come to know that crime prevention, the prevention of crime and victim care is an organization, international organization, which is planning to unite with Patrician College and have some programs with all the first years. So I need to give you an introduction about what exactly is going to happen here. As all of us know, crime, what is crime? What is crime? Just in one word or two words. Anything against law. Anything against law is a crime. Okay? As patricians, you know, anything against the rule of the college, you are punished, isn't it? Similarly, the law has earmarked what is to be done and what not. So we all know, we should know the law. First of all, we should know the law. We are now trying to understand what are the various crimes that are taking place, because being part of this PCVC, I think all of you will know what are the crimes that is happening around us. I think last year Social Work Department organized a program on trafficking, which was a very useful program. I think seniors are here. If you remember what is the purpose of the program, definitely you will know you will have to take care of yourself. I hope you know the word trafficking. If not, please know. Because as social workers, as psychologists, you need to know many things. So the program is to bring in growth among women, young women and men, boys and girls, in promoting positive alternatives, especially with regard to your attitude and practices. The project intends to create spaces for meaningful dialogues for the young people, where they get the opportunity to build their own narrative that is informed by a thorough understanding and analysis of core concepts like power, privilege, inclusion, identities, justice, respect, and equality. This is the core idea behind the whole program. The power, privilege, inclusion, identity, justice, respect, and equality. The key objective of this program is to create a violence-free environment. Okay, today we find violence and we say, see, this is happening, that is happening, we point out. Sometimes we are cause for it, or sometimes we are the victims. So, first of all, we should know the key areas. The second thing is to equip teachers for increasing student confidence and success. Today, many of us have, come across such violence, abuse, and we have not come out of it. Many of us, even teachers, it can be even students, it can be. There are many kinds of violence that we face, but we have never expressed it. We have never expressed this in our lifetime. I can definitely say out of this group, there are people who have experienced violence, and it is at least 20% of this population. At least 20%, but we never tell it out. It can be a boy, it can be a girl. Minimum 20%. But we never express because out of fear, we never tell it out to anyone. It can be even an abuse among your own relationship in the family. It can be from a father, it can be from a brother, it can be from a sister, it can be from a mother, not necessarily from a male member. Many of us make mistakes thinking that these kind of, things come only from male members. Sometimes it comes even from women. We are also cause for a lot of destruction. And to create a learning environment that is safe and respectful, all of us should be treated with dignity. That is the most important aspect that we should understand. If human understand this aspect, then definitely we can avoid all kinds of problems, because we treat human as human being. And we don't treat them differently when it comes to my own, when it is somebody else. We always differentiate, we always draw a line. In the arena, other reaction is different. When it is somebody's, the reaction is different. Always feel only one aspect in yours is the human quality. Treat everybody with dignity in the same spirit. Don't have differential treatment. Don't have a biased approach, which is totally wrong. The program would have a 6-step process. That is, you will have 3 years your education time. Already you finished 1 semester. I think they will combine the first and the second together. This is mostly for the first years. So it will be combined for the first and second semester. It will be in 6 steps and for a period of 3 years. The focus will be on partnering with the institution and acting as a catalyst for seeding a movement of young people to address violence and intolerance. So this is actually between the age group 13 to 23 age. So naturally you fall into this category. And this participation is, here it is made compulsory, but it should actually be voluntary. But I think compulsory is nothing wrong, because this is not the age you understand anything, but after getting into, you come to know many things. So I think it should be made compulsory initially, but as per the plan here it is mentioned as voluntary. The outcome of this program is expected like this. We'll use, because I do not know much about this, because I'm not an expert basically. But I know various crimes that are happening, but as a woman, I can stop to some extent. But if all of us join together, definitely we can stop violence that is happening around us. PCVC will use qualitative and quantitative techniques to assess the journey of change of young people, because we always feel prevention is better than cure. So after committing a crime, then taking care of the criminals is something that we should avoid. Why don't we educate about what is crime, so that they don't get into such crime? So this is the main purpose. So instead of a post-mortem. So PCVC will develop participatory tools wherein the Youth Unite forums and institution can self-monitor and report the changes. PCVC and Youth Unite forums will use digital technology to record and disseminate the monitoring results. So I think all of us can benefit out of this program, and I would like to congratulate and thank the principal and the department for bringing in such forums into the college, so that we also develop ourselves and we protect the society to the maximum extent. We are not only just academically strong, but we'd also take care of the society at a large. So that should be the purpose of somebody's life, and I think we will be one such person to create such a big change. Let us create a history and just not a life to just live, enjoy and go. Let's create history. Wish you all the best. God bless you.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for your valuable thoughts. The most awaited moment has arrived. I now request Ms. Indirani Garadia, founder of Indirani Life Foundation and founding member, Maverick Collective, and Dr. A. Joseph Durai, a principal of Patrician College of Arts and Science, to formally launch the Youth Unite program. I would like to call upon Dr. A. Joseph Durai, Principal of Patrician College of Arts and Science, to share some thoughts.
Respected Chief Guest, representatives of PCVC, Vice Principal, faculty members, and HOD of Social Work, and my dear students, a very good afternoon to you. So I will not take much of a time. First thing I want to start with a question. Do you know why you are here? Why we talk about this crime prevention and victim care? Is it related to you? Yes? So you are studying not for crime now. to commit crime. Then how you are sitting here and you are coordinating with this? So I think you have selected two departments, psychology department and the social work department, where psychology will be studying about this juvenile delinquency, etc. and brain development, and social work department, you are going to the field, you need to interact with different kinds of people, etc. So before you need to educate others, you need to know what is happening. I think the guest speaker was very forthright in giving information to you. The present day statistics in India says that 40% of crime is between 18 to 30 years. And the range நீங்க இருக்கீங்களா 18 to 30 ல? So you are the most important aspect in this. The second thing is there any violence among the youth? Girls are saying yes, but boys are saying no. So there is violence. Is violence a crime? Yes. ஒரு பக்கத்துல இருக்க ஸ்டூடெண்ட் நீ அடிக்கிறது கிரைமா? கிரைமா இல்லையா? No. No, that is not against our college rules only. It is against law. So your fundamental right stops till you touch the nose of the other person. So you don't have a right to touch the other person. Okay? So it is against law and it is a crime. That you need to understand. So I want to explain this theory, but I am not going to the theory. Have you heard about the inverted U? Or the U, you know about the U-shaped curve? Yeah? And you think about the inverted U. And I think psychologists, students should know about this theory. Do you have aspirations? Do all of you have aspirations or not? Yes? So this is what the theory states. Everyone has an aspiration. So everyone starts growing. So there is a point where you reach a point where your aspirations stops and you are not able to move further. So there is a downward trend in your life and you feel dejected, and so you start, your aspirations are not able to achieve, so the curve comes down. So this is an inverted view. This is where this crime starts. When your aspirations are not able to be matched or not able to achieve, then the other aspect is the crime, or due to various reasons, each individual enters into or enters to deal with the crime. So, this is a forum created by PCVC. Youth Unite is a forum which tries to address the youth and tries to bring in discussion among you. ரொம்ப சிம்பிளா சொல்லணும்னா, it is for you, by you and of. So you need to have deliberations about your problem, how you need to solve the solution problems. So create a solution. So as students, collaborative discussions and participations will prevent crime. In the sense, how it prevents crime? you will be able to achieve your aspirations. So, the reasons for crime, the psychology students will be knowing, there are various factors. The social factors are there, economic factors are there, geographical factors are there, environmental factors are there. So many factors influence a person. So, this is one of the kind wherein we are giving you some external factors so that you come out of that negative things, negative thoughts. Have a positive attitude. Discuss among yourselves. Discuss the problems which each one of you face and come out of with their solutions. So you are the best to deal with your problem. As teachers, our roles are limited in the sense we will be giving you this forum to utilize. This forum is to be utilized by you. And you need to be very active in this in order to get the benefits. So as social work HOD, she has given you a forum where you can grow, where you can address your problems. As a student, you will join together and do whatever you want positively. Help the other students achieve these things. So I thank the PCVC and the founder, Mrs. Indirani, for giving this college a platform wherein our students, our college students will benefit from this forum. Thank you very much. Thank you all.
The thankful receiver bears a plentiful harvest. So now I invite Ms. Vinola Sharabel, Assistant Professor, Department of Social Work, Patrician College, to give the vote of thanks.
It's my privilege to propose the vote of thanks on this occasion. On behalf of the Social Work Department and Patrician College of Arts and Science, I extend a very hearty thanks to one and all present here. A big thank you to Ms. Indirani and Ms. Rashmi for their efforts towards throwing light on PCVC and Youth Initiative. Special thanks to Ms. Vidya, Sangeeta and Ms. Priya for the coordination work that they have rendered. I also extend my gratitude to our Director, Reverend Brother Johnson Rex Kanapal, our Principal, Dr. Joseph Thurai, Vice Principal, Ms. Dr. Geeta Rufus, Dr. Sindhu Seven, Head Department of Social Work, and all the faculty members of Social Work Department, and the students present here. Finally, I would like to take this opportunity to record our warm thanks to Mr. Kamal and his team for the perfect logistic support. Thank you all for your presence today in making today's event a grand success. Thank you.